Someone says your name across a crowded room. Every head turns toward you at once. You haven't done anything wrong, you haven't even spoken yet, and still, before a single thought can form, something happens that you have no power to stop. Heat. It climbs your neck. It floods your cheeks. It spreads to the tips of your ears. Within seconds, your face has turned a deep, unmistakable red, and everyone in that room can see it. The one feeling you most wanted to hide, your own body has just announced to the world. In 1872, Charles Darwin sat down to write about this exact moment. He had spent his life explaining the living world through cold, mechanical logic. Survival, advantage, the slow grind of natural selection. But blushing stopped him. He called it the most peculiar and the most human of all expressions. And then he admitted something he almost never admitted about anything. He could not fully explain it, because every other reaction your body has makes a kind of sense. Fear makes you run. Pain makes you pull away. But blushing seems to do the opposite of help. It exposes you. It betrays you. It arrives at the worst possible moment and makes everything worse. So why do we do it? Why are we the only creature on Earth that turns red with shame? And why, after hundreds of thousands of years, has evolution refused to take it away? Most people assume the answer is obvious. Blushing is just embarrassment leaking out, a glitch, a weakness, a malfunction in an otherwise well-built machine. But that's not what it is. The truth is far stranger. Blushing isn't a flaw in the system. It might be one of the most sophisticated things your body knows how to do. To understand why, you have to start with how strange the mechanism really is. The flush in your face is controlled by the sympathetic nervous system, the same ancient circuitry behind fight or flight. And almost everywhere else in your body, that system does one thing when it fires. It tightens your blood vessels and pulls blood inward, away from the surface. It's why fear can make you go pale, but in your face, it does the exact reverse. For decades, the psychologist Peter Drummond at Murdoch University in Australia has measured what happens to facial blood flow in the grip of embarrassment. The veins in your cheeks don't tighten. They open, they widen, and flood with warm blood until the skin glows through. The blood vessels of the human face appear to be wired differently from almost any others in the body. Unusually quick to dilate, unusually eager to show. And Drummond found something crueler still. The more you notice the blush, the more desperately you want it to stop, the hotter it burns. Attention feeds it, which means this is the one signal your body can send that you cannot fake and cannot suppress. The harder you fight it, the louder it speaks. But a signal you can't control is a dangerous thing to carry through life. And that is where the real mystery begins. Darwin wanted to know how far this went, so he did something unusual for his time. He sent questions to missionaries, doctors, and travelers on nearly every continent, asking a single thing. Do your people blush? The answers came back the same from everywhere. Across every culture, every nation, every shade of skin, human beings turn red with shame. Even people born blind, who have never once seen a blush on another face, do it themselves. It is universal to our species, and it belongs to our species alone. No other animal on Earth blushes. Not the apes who share almost all our DNA. Not the dogs who read our faces better than we read them. Only us. And Darwin worked out why. A blush, he realized, doesn't come from thinking about yourself. It comes from imagining what someone else is thinking about you. It is not the simple act of reflecting on our own appearance, he wrote, but the thinking what others think of us, which excites a blush. To turn red, you must be able to step outside yourself and see yourself through another person's eyes, which is exactly why a newborn never blushes. The reaction has to wait. It doesn't surface until early childhood, and the psychologist Michael Lewis at Rutgers University traced why. It emerges hand in hand with a single new ability. The moment a child first recognizes itself in a mirror. The moment it understands, for the first time, that it is a self that others can see. The blush is born the day the sense of self is born. It is quite literally the color of self-awareness. But this is the part that troubled Darwin most, and still troubles scientists today. Think about what blushing actually does to you. Every other stress response in your body is built to protect you. Adrenaline sharpens your mind. Fear floods your legs. But blushing takes the single feeling you most want to hide and paints it across your face in a color no one can miss. It doesn't conceal your embarrassment. It advertises it. It drags every eye in the room straight to the thing you were praying no one would notice. By the ruthless logic of natural selection, this makes no sense at all. A trait that handicaps you, that exposes you at your most vulnerable, should have been erased generations ago. The blushers should have lost out to the cool, the unreadable, the unflappable. And yet here we all are, still turning red, every single one of us. For more than a century, that paradox split the people who studied it. Some were certain blushing was nothing but a useless accident, a meaningless byproduct of a nervous system doing something odd. Others refused to believe that a reaction this universal, this precise, this stubbornly preserved, could mean nothing at all. The argument went unsettled for a long time, until researchers stopped asking what a blush feels like from the inside, and started asking what it does to the people watching. That answer came from the Netherlands. At the University of Amsterdam, the psychologist Corine Dijk built a series of experiments around a simple idea. She showed people stories about someone who had done something wrong, knocked over a stranger's groceries, broken a borrowed object, committed some small social crime. In some versions, the person in the story blushed afterward. In others, they didn't. Then she asked everyone watching the same questions. How much do you trust this person? How likable are they? How likely are they to do it again? The results were striking. The blush changed everything. People who turned red after a mistake were judged as more trustworthy, more sympathetic, more honest. Watchers believed they were sorry, believed they would be more careful next time, and forgave them far more readily than the people who had stayed cool. And the reason traces straight back to where we started. A blush cannot be faked. It cannot be summoned on command or held back by willpower. So, when you see it on someone's face, you are looking at something rare in human life, a signal that is impossible to counterfeit. It says, without a single word, I know I broke the rule. I care. I am not a threat to you. It is a confession the body makes before the mouth can even open, which turns the whole paradox inside out. The blush was never exposing you to the group. It was saving you from the group. The thing that feels like betrayal is, in truth, a kind of protection, a built-in apology, written in a language everyone understands and no one can fake. And once you see that, the moments you've spent cursing your own face start to look completely different. The meeting where you said the wrong thing. The message sent to the wrong person. The stranger who caught your eye a beat too long. In every one of those moments, while you were silently begging the heat to fade, your body was doing something ancient and generous on your behalf. It was telling everyone around you that you still play by the rules, that you feel the weight of belonging, that you can be trusted. It is no accident that blushing peaks in adolescence, in the years when fitting in matters more than almost anything else ever will. The most social, most self-conscious stretch of a human life is also the reddest, because blushing was never a sign of weakness or of caring too much. It is caring, made visible. The people who blush easily aren't fragile. They are the ones wearing their conscience on their skin. So the next time you feel that heat begin to climb, at exactly the wrong moment, in front of exactly the wrong people, and you wish more than anything in the world that you could make it stop, try to remember what it really is. It isn't your body failing you. It's your body telling the truth. It is the oldest and most honest apology a human being can offer. Proof that you can imagine another mind, that you care how you are seen, that you were built to belong to something larger than yourself. No other creature on this planet can do it. Not one. We are the only animal that blushes. Darwin called it the most peculiar of all our expressions, but he also called it the most human, and maybe that is the part he was reaching for and could never quite catch. Blushing isn't a flaw we never managed to outgrow. It might be the most human thing we ever kept.